25th, and we just got a load of wood chips delivered to our house. And I just kind of want to go over the process of getting these things delivered. It's called getchipdrop.com is the website that we use. I actually signed up yesterday for it, and today we got a load of wood chips. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me. It looks like this is palm this time. The website actually works. You just sign up and you get whatever type of tree that they chip up that day. We've gotten mesquite, we've gotten Palo Verde, and the last delivery that we had was all pine. And this delivery looks like it's all palm tree, fronds and limbs and leaves that have been chopped up. So I will be unloading these in the backyard by wheelbarrow starting probably now, and we'll do an update daily to see how long it takes us to get these things unloaded. So if you guys ever need wood chips, I highly recommend using this website. I pay $20, which you don't have to pay anything, but if you pay $20 you get it quicker. And $20 for this size of a load of mulch is pretty ridiculous. If you think about, you know, this is probably 3 bags at Home Depot would cost me $20, so well worth it. It helps the arborists keep the wood chips out of the landfills, and it gets put back onto the earth to create soil. So everybody wins, and looking forward to getting these unloaded. So thank you. Check out the website, get some free mulch, and start growing. Say about palm fronds is these pitchforks come in really handy. It's more like straw than it is chips, a lot of it. Not my favorite wood chips to get delivered, but mulch is mulch, and it'll break down and do what we need it to do. So we're gonna head out to the backyard now and show you where we put all the wood chips. Okay, so if you look down here, I've dropped a couple piles in the yard here where the garden is. And the wood chips are here. I'm probably gonna spread them out after the summer takes out the garden, and spread them out and get them ready for the fall. Back there, in the back there is, I have one wheelbarrow full of wood chips. That is for this tree right here. This almond tree is gonna get those wood chips, but I gotta feed it tomorrow, so I'm gonna pull the wood chips back and give it some fertilizer, and then add the wood chips on top. And now we're gonna go back to the main piece of our orchard. All right, guys, here's the orchard area where we dump most of the wood chips. Again, 14 yards, as you can see in the beginning of the video, was a fairly large amount, so I moved them all back here covered the ground all around the trees. If you go into some of the trees, you can see I create berms around the trees with the majority of the wood chips. That's because it gets watered a lot more in this area, and the wood chips break down and feed the trees. So I want a nice thick layer just on the outside there of the ring where of the drip line. So I do that on all the trees. We've got all the trees covered in here. I've got all the ground covered. This is also building the soil for any future trees I want to plant. And I've got some grass growing over here. So we mounded it up a little bit. That usually slows down the grass somewhat. I'm going to spread this out a little bit in here, but we mounded it up pretty high so that we can control the grass a little bit. And then we will go over to the other side where I have 5 other trees just to show you the rings that we've done. All right guys, here's the apple tree. As you can see, I mounted it up pretty high. It gets hot over here because of the rocks, and I'm hoping one day to take the rocks out and just cover this area in wood chips as well. But for now, this is working very well. The apple tree's super happy, and we're keeping the moisture in as we get to the hottest part of the summer here. If we go over to the moringa tree, you can see that I mounted it up pretty high. What I do want to say is that it looks like that this mound would last forever and that it's a lot or maybe even too much mulch, but this mulch will break down very quickly. By September, this will be broken down flat, most likely September or October. So it's just to cover over the winter, feed, and hold moisture in. And then over here, the grapefruit, same thing. I got a nice thick layer here. These trees do not get water on a regular basis. They get hose watered twice a week, so I thought it was very important to get thick layer of mulch in here. It helps protect them very well, and the grapefruits on here are enjoying it. We've got lots of grapefruits in here. So the mulch is helping keep the moisture in, and the fruit are continuing to grow. Over here, the elm that we covered is very thick, because like I said, back here we get no water. So I'm hose watering this, and I want these trees to really hold in some moisture, because they're not getting regular drip water like the orchard over here yet. One day they will, but right now they're not. So they're getting hose watered, so mulch is super, super important. So I've added extra layers here just to make sure that we get good coverage. And we'll go over to our last tree over here, the Chilean mesquite, which is very young, but I think since the last video we've done, it's already grown another 6 inches or so. So I'm covering this with mulch and watering this a couple times a week just to get these things growing. They actually do not need any water, but if you give them extra water, it helps speed up the growing process. So as you can see, we have the fronds in here kind of grassy and hay-like. It was fairly difficult to move this stuff because of it, but I did borrow a pitchfork from my dad, and he always says I never mention him on the video, so thanks, Pops. Anyway, so that is pretty much it. As far as summary on wood chips, I would say we've had 3 loads. We've had a load of mesquite, a load of pine, and a load of these palms here. And I would say that the pine is absolutely the best wood chips we had, with the needles and the wood chips. They've lasted. They add a lot of cover, but the needles feed quickly, and then the wood chips from the pine bark, they break down a little bit slower, the bark and the wood. So if I were to say I had to pick one, I would say that I definitely would go with the pine so far. Like I said, palm is probably my least favorite, but it is mulch and it will break down just like everything else. In a few months, this will look like any other pile of mulch. It'll break down nicely, feed, and hold moisture. So if you guys have any questions, post it below. Thank you.